CBS 46 News presents Public Affairs on Peach.
Good morning and welcome to Public Affairs on Peach. I'm Karen Greer. Have you ever thought about starting your own business? If you've ever wanted to be your own boss, don't touch that remote because starting a business can be a challenge. So we're talking to some entrepreneurs, big and small, to find out how they got their start and how you can do it too. My first guest today is Phyllis Newhouse, the CEO and founder of Extreme Solutions. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, you have a military background,
Yes.
worked in the Pentagon. You started Extreme Solutions in 2002, and within 2 years, you made $1 million in revenue. How'd you do that?
Well, I'll tell you what, you said this right. I started in the military, so I had a 22-year military career. So I'd already learned really how to build organizations and, pretty much, manage people and money, government's money. So I took all of those skill sets and I got out and I decided that I had the skills that I had was very valuable, and I started the business. And I really just surrounded myself with a lot of people that had the management background. A lot of them were prior military. So that first year we went into business, and within 2 years we were already at $1 million in revenue.
Talk about your business, cybersecurity.
Yeah, cybersecurity. So we're an ethical hacking firm, and we do a lot of cyber services and solutions. And primarily what we do is we find holes into large infrastructures, and then we take those, when we find the vulnerabilities and the exposure, we take those exposures and then we train organizations around how to fix them so that they're not hacked. And so we also work on the other side of once that organization has been hacked, we go in and we do all of the digital forensics and figure out how it was compromised, et cetera.
Like the City of Atlanta hack.
Yes, like the City of Atlanta. Yeah, we work on projects similar to that. So there's almost every organization is vulnerable to any type of hack. And so we work with organizations on the governance and the compliance and those issues around what a cyber breach is really about.
Have you learned that this business, this whole CEO is very inclusive? There's a select group of you all.
Yeah, Karen, this is very interesting. This year I was named the Entrepreneur of the Year in Technology. And what was really fascinating about that is that I looked around the U.S. and looked at a lot of the entrepreneurs, especially women and women of color. In 31 years as an Entrepreneur of the Year program, that never had a woman to win the technology category. So I looked at that and looked at how I mean, it's a really small group of women CEOs in tech. So for me to be one of those women that was named Entrepreneur of the Year was a really big deal in the industry.
Now, what would you recommend to women out there who want to be entrepreneurs and break into your industry?
Well, so one of the things that I really would say to a lot of these women, especially if you're in college right now, look at those technical areas where there's disruption opportunities. And I say disruption opportunities because oftentimes we don't look at where, there's nobody playing in this field right now. I'm going to step out there and do something incredibly different. And I think that's where, when I started the business, for me, it was, how many women are in cyber? And what are those opportunities in cyber? Really looking at the real opportunities.
Now, you've become good friends with a powerhouse that we all know and love and watch on television, Viola Davis. Talk about how you all met.
Wow, that's really interesting. It's funny. I was up for Entrepreneur of the Year, and Viola Davis was the keynote speaker at the Entrepreneur of the Year. And we ended up having lunch together. This was arranged lunch. And it's supposed to be a 45-minute lunch, and we ended up talking, girl talk, and it turned into a 45-minute lunch, 4 hour and 45 minutes. But what was fascinating about that was we had the opportunity to really talk about issues that were applicable in both of our industries. And when we did that, we realized that we were onto something, and it was deeper than just an opportunity to have lunch together. And we deepened that relationship by really sharing where we felt we could really make an impact.
We had a chance to just look at some of Shoulder Up. What is that all about?
So Viola and I talked about this, is that where are we in terms of women around the world? In terms of how do we move that needle? And there's a lot of talk. We understand a lot of the movements and campaigns that have happened, Lean In and Time's Up. And we talked about we are ready to do something that's changing history. And so we said, you know, when women get together and we go shoulder to shoulder and we stand shoulder to shoulder, we're unstoppable. And so what we're asking women around the world is shoulder up. Find somebody that you can support, not help. Help is different. We want to support women. We want to support them on that journey. And that's what the Shoulder Up movement, the next movement, is about.
Well, you all are going to be my new Shoulder Up buddies. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Glad to have you here. Make sure you catch Shoulder Up simulcast August 26th. It's called Journey to Legacy. It's featuring our guest, Phyllis Newhouse, and actress Viola Davis. For more details on it, you can tap on the CBS 46 app. Don't they look fabulous right there? When we come back, you don't have to be an adult to start your own business. We're going to get some inspiration from some business owners who don't even drive. We'll be right back.